Like I said, I want to tell you a couple of books that I encourage you to read if you are interested in Mary Shelley and her life and what she believed about things, and you don't want to just like believe whatever you see on the internet. By the way, this was my very first copy of Frankenstein, and I ordered it off Thrift Books, and my initials were written on it. So do with that what you will. This is the first book, Selected Letters of Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley. Gorgeous. It's all her letters. There's brilliant footnotes. There's letters to Shelley, there's letters to Byron, there's letters to everyone you can think of, and it's wonderful, wonderful primary source for figuring out what she thought about things. Next, this book, Shelley's Ghost. I'm assuming that you can still buy this. It's from the Bodleian. I bought it, like I said, there was a Shelley exhibit going on when I went to England. And so it's just like this really gorgeous collection of artifacts, but like full page letters. Can you see this? Oh my God. And that's the line. Mary was there and Percy was with me. Oh, love it. I love it. It's a great book. It's more focused on Percy, but obviously, like, you can't talk about him without talking about her. So wonderful. Another author that writes a lot about Mary Shelley and is like a very foremost Mary Shelley scholar is Anne Malor. I think Anne Malor is brilliant. I do think she's very much the product of her time in writing. She was writing in the 70s and the 80s. I think that was when most of her Mary Shelley scholarship was going on. I think sometimes she falls victim to like the 70s first wave, second wave feminism that I don't prescribe to some of the stuff that they believe. I think she was very hard on Percy in some of her critique. I think she also can like tend towards victimizing Mary when I don't think that's the case. I disagree with that aspect of her story, but for the most part, Anne Malor is a great secondary reference. Last one I'm going to talk about, even though I have an unbelievable stack of books. Hang on. This one. This is the one I recommend. This is Romantic Outlaws by Charlotte Gordon. It's the extraordinary lives of Mary Wollstonecraft and her daughter Mary Shelley. First of all, this cover, mm, 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 brilliant. This book is really cool because it alternates between each chapter flips between Mary Wollstonecraft and Mary Shelley, and it covers like very similar eras of their lives. So it's like when Mary Wollstonecraft was a small child, when Mary Shelley was a small child, and I really love the way that those stories echo each other, and how it's really beautiful to me how Mary Wollstonecraft is both alive and dead in reading this book. Like, you read about her being alive and not having, like, being a teenager and getting into trouble, and then you read about Mary Shelley and how profoundly Mary's Wollstonecraft's absence affected how Mary Shelley grew up and how she lived and how she felt about herself. And it's just exquisite. It's so good. And I think it also gets a little bit more into some more interesting things that I think earlier biographers strayed away from. In particular, Mary Wollstonecraft's kind of queerness and Mary Shelley's kind of queerness. And it's a lot more of a nuanced take, I feel. And I think it's beautifully written as well. It's a very engaging read, but I really love the way that Mary Wollstonecraft kind of haunts the narrative. I think it's really, really beautiful. And I think while I think Mary Shelley also kind of like is able to haunt the narrative, because if you know anything about her, you kind of know where her story is going and you know who she becomes. And so reading about her as a child and her anxieties and her fears, especially like I said about legacy, it's so beautiful and so moving. So I highly, highly recommend that biography. Bye.